For all film-related interviews, content and reviews, please subscribe to Pooja Talwar.
Begums, now tell me in one sentence, if you were to describe the series that you've just completed together to people who are yet to watch it, haven't seen it, how would you describe it?
I would say courage and diversity is how I would describe it. Because we are so diverse, and I think that we have our own battles and we have our own challenges. And I think what emerges is that somehow we kind of fight and kind of get on top of all of our issues and deal with our own demons and come to terms with our flaws and deal with the fact that there's a lot more uncertainty than certainty. I think that's why, and courage and diversity, because we are all diverse women off screen, and also the characters that we play. And I think that's what's so magical, is because we're so different from each other. Yet there's a core, I think, that is the same, which is why it seems like what it does.
Absolutely. And, the thing is, all of you, together, five Begums, should I say 4.5, because Shai's character is still developing.
If you can look at the young lady now, I mean, I think she's beaten us all. Look at her. I mean, she's emerged. We've seen her grow in like 2 years, and a year and a half, actually, to be precise. And wow, I wonder where she's going to be in a year and a half from now.
Totally, and she's totally the voice of reason. But I just want to ask you, as you said, diverse and courageous, each one of them is struggling with her choices, lack of choices, questioning the choices she's made. She is perfect in her imperfection, all of you. Did you all resonate with the journey of your character somewhere? Think that the five that you've played, this actually was my journey. Did you take away something from it, or did it bring back memories of you having struggled or been in situations like this?
I think I would say, interestingly enough, I resonate with it more in the present moment, having played Fatima already, but I resonate with the part where suddenly I think it's also a function of a certain phase in your life, your mid-30s, early 30s. In the 30s, especially for women, I think because the maturity level, you're at a certain phase and juncture in your life where you start, everything is up for question again. And I think we're going through a phase post-lockdown, whatever it is, where there has been a lot of internal questioning and introspection, which has led to a lot of finding yourself at a certain crossroad, but a liberating one, where you are freeing yourself of the identities that you have created for yourself before and kind of re-examining who you want to be. And I think that part, now in retrospect, I relate to with Fatima in that journey that she has. Even though as a character, as a personality, she's completely different from me.
True. And then, of course, we have Rani, who says, Pooja's character, who says, I am the rebellion. I just loved that. So did you somewhere resonate, find a piece of you in the journey of these characters, any one of them, or for that matter, your own character?
Well, I think that one of the reasons that I said yes to playing Rani was because Rani is very unlike me in many ways. Yet there is a certain weight and a kind of baggage, as some might call it, that you inherit from being part of a business where you evolve from being actor to producer to director, and you've seen it from all sides. You've had some terrible falls, you've seen great flights, and you realize not to take either very seriously. So I think, to sum up Rani, I would actually, what resonates with her and me somewhere is, I can say I've been there, I've looked over the edge, and I've returned, And I think that that is how I would sum her up. And I think that there is a tendency in her to cover up a lot, to kind of wear her strength and her resilience as an armor, really, because she's competing in a world that's very male-oriented in that sense. And somehow she's not very open to even female kinship. And I think the first time you see that is in my relationship with Fatima, where finally she lets her defenses down and allows herself to kind of just accept that glass of water, and then you see the two women sitting down together. She's somehow not had the time to let anyone in. At the same time, she tries so desperately to kind of reach out to her stepdaughter, which finally she's able to build that bridge when she lets it all down and puts all her flaws and her supposed kind of failures and her shame on the table. And that begins a communication and becomes the bridge, actually, to Shai's character. So I think that what one realizes through the show and that's what one has realized through life, that eventually what we consider to be our frailties are actually our strengths. And we need not gloss them over, because I think that the fact that we've survived those and we've kind of come out of our battles with our scars and our souls intact is something that we need to kind of celebrate as opposed to kind of shy away from. No pun
I
intended.
totally agree with Aisha, totally. So coming to Lily, Aisha, and Shai, what about the three of you? Are you totally unlike your characters, or was that I know where she's coming from?
So I am personally very different from Aisha. So when I first, I took a little bit of time to crack Aisha to understand how she would think, how she would feel. But one thing is very similar to with me and Aisha is that we want, and I think all of us, or all the characters, is that as women we want that independence, like we want to be self-dependent, and it's the whole survivor in her. I think that's something that really something I can resonate with her, because I also feel that no matter what life throws at you, I mean, Aisha is a survivor because she has no choice. But this is something that I would like to believe, that I would like to think that, okay, no matter what life throws at me, I have to survive, because this is what we're here to do. And more than that, I feel overall, I resonated with each and every character, even though actually this is something I thought after watching the show myself. I thought that, okay, I don't think I have been through anything similar to any of these Begums. You know, maybe similar, but nothing like this. And even then, I could resonate with each and every character, because how each and every character is written so real, and we're all flawed, we're not perfect, and we're all gray, and it's just, I think it's just being a woman, you would understand what it feels like, even like, I mean, in any kind of situation, that you always have to put in little extra steps to do to get something that in this world.
Absolutely.
Basically, that's something I think I resonated with every character because of that.
True. Shai,
Yeah, so
why do they always blame Eve, as she says? Why is Eve always blamed?
okay, so I wouldn't say that I'm completely like Shai, but of course there's a part of me in Shai as well. She's not your typical teenager. She's that rebel, and of course you can find bits and pieces of your journey reflected in Shai's, and she's trying to discover the world. She's trying to discover herself, and find out the bond between her and her stepmom Rani. And she's just wants to fit in with the world. She wants to know what's going on. She's observant. And I feel that every teenager will be able to relate with what Shai is going through, because obviously at a point they might have reached that stage where they are trying to process and figure out what they are going through. And I feel that they will like it when they know that there's someone who shares their flaws with them as well. So that's basically what the character's about, and I think that people can relate deeply with Shai as well.
True. And there's Lily, who's absolutely seeking validation and a perfect life. And
Yeah.
I mean, you may question her choices, but those are her choices, and she thinks those are right.
Exactly, very well put, Pooja. And I liked your earlier question as well, as when you asked what is the one sentence this series
Ji.
gave me also. So look at the colors we are wearing, yeah, and womanhood has so many colors, isn't it? And those beautiful colors of womanhood, I would say, they are all in that series, and we are celebrating womanhood. That's the feeling I got. And as you very rightly expressed about Lily, it's like the one sentence comes to me is like, catch me if you can, because in the sense, in what sense I'm saying that sometimes you can describe a character, she's like this, okay, got it, she's like this. But Lily is someone, Pooja had given me a fantastic example. She's a survivor. And Pooja has asked me, have you seen a dog who is crossing a road? He's on his toes, but then he has to survive. But then he's changing the strategies, you know. So
Ji.
likewise, Lily, I thought, you know, if you see every scene of Lily, she's different. So Catch Me If You Can is like, for the character I'm saying that, you know, you cannot, okay, now Lily is like this, you cannot say that. But she's a survivor, of course. So for me, as she herself says, her dharma is motherhood. But then she can, you know, for her survival, she's, you know, her morality is her own thing. Like, you cannot judge her by, you know, your rich class moralities or whatever. Like, she's making things
Absolutely.
work. She's making things work. But she's हारती नहीं है कभी भी. And then she's Rani madam को भी tough दे रही है. So
But you know, I must come in here. I've always told Amruta, and
Yeah.
I think we've discussed this so often, all of us, that I think that if there's one character whose moral compass is intact, it is actually Lily's. It is Lily who actually provokes this entire kind of investigation and discussion about what happens to Aisha's character. If it was left to
True.
us, we would have probably brushed it under the carpet. So it kind of reminds me that eventually, you know, I mean, what is morally right is not necessarily in beautiful boardrooms and high-flying spaces.
Absolutely.
You know, the value systems, the good, the glue that keeps this country together actually is in the lowest and the lowest of places. It's in the poorest, lowest of places, and it's those people that actually keep it all going. I mean, I think that if India is a well-oiled machinery and there is some, you know, glue of good that holds it together, it's actually the nameless, faceless people, the lilies of the world,
beautifully
who
said.
are actually going out there and doing, what does she have to go out and kind of take over the world? But she's got her body. And she's willing to trade on it to be able to kind of make sure that her son एक बड़ा आदमी बनता है. Somewhere, and tragically, when वो बड़ा आदमी बन जाएगा, he will give up all those value systems to be able to maintain that, which is what our world forces us to do. So I think that
Absolutely.
I feel that she is the most innocent character. She's the one
Yeah.
who provokes thought, which is why Rani is quite terrified of how truthful she is. You know, I mean, the
And
fact
then
that
I'm
when you,
taken-
that scene where you say to me, कि क्या? When I say I have to follow procedure, and she says, क्या है procedure?
Yes.
Chup rehna.
Chup rehna is
True.
procedure.
Brushing it under the carpet. So I
Yeah.
think that, you know, if you look at anything, whether you look at female infanticide, for example, I mean, it's actually happening more in very rich homes. Because
Yeah.
they have something
Yes,
to lose if they
I
don't
totally-
have a male heir.
to-
And if you look at the poorest of the poor, I mean, they'll actually believe that Lakshmi aa gayi hamare ghar mein.
So this power of dreaming, I would really like to have from Lily. Even if you are in, you know, life is slapping you, you are like, oh, I'm dreaming, you're slapping me, but still I'm dreaming.
Totally confident in her skin. And I like the way how you all play off each other. First, there is viciousness, can't tolerate the sight of each other, then they all come together. But, you know, Pooja, I will start with you and then Shahana, of course. I mean, you started, what, 3 decades ago? And, you know,
Yeah.
you were it's been 3 decades, right? Because
It
I
has
think
been. It
you're
was
the same age.
1989 when I did my first film.
True.
Yeah.
And you know, you were progressive, but you know, and then you also chose to direct the kind of movies you did. And now from being overtly regressive, now when we see the kind of content we are seeing, they said, ye to overtly progressive hai. Do you think there is this, what do you think about the change in narratives? Are we not willing to accept seeing women celebrating their flaws? You know, no one is perfect they're going through their own transitory phases.
Yes, I think that we've definitely made huge breakthroughs in many ways, but we've got many steps back in many ways. Because I think that the world right now is so obsessed with perfection, for example, if you look at social media. And we were talking this morning about, for example, when in the 90s, we didn't have the privilege of stylists. And people kind of giving us an array of kind of goodies to choose from to be able to face the media or to do a photo shoot. And you had to literally go into your cupboard and pull out what you had and kind of put something together. But I think that somewhere, when you lay out this buffet, not everyone really has a sense of who they are, which is why you see people who are really clones of each other. I mean, you know, very often I'm sure you face situations where you're talking to somebody and you're doing it through a battery of PR people, where you're not really getting to get through to the real person. We had none of that. And we paid a heavy price for it, of course. But I think that what emerges finally is a real you. And I'm just very privileged to have been able to work with these unique women because I think none of us have that veneer in that sense. And I think that our exercise that we did, where we were thrown into a room for 2 days and we were just kind of told to bare our souls. And that became a trust exercise where we really brought it all out. I mean, in terms of, you know, the worst and the best that's happened to each other. And that's how the trust was really formed amongst ourselves. It's not, otherwise, normally you're just kind of thrown in front of each other 5 minutes before the camera rolls. And I think coming back to what you actually asked, I think that we've made leaps in terms of storytelling, but we've also gone backwards in many ways. And I mean, the other day we were asked that, when you talk about ambition in film, and what comes to me first is a film like Arth, which my father made eons ago, where finally you have a woman who thinks that she's all dependent on this husband, but when walks into the sunset, without the aid of the lover or the husband, it was considered very forward and rather shocking in those days, but that's what works. So I think the audience is ready. People have always been open. It is us within the industry. It is the people who report on the industry that we are frightened of endings. We are frightened of letting go to familiar things. And then the world changes, like COVID happens to us and it changes. And then you're forced to change, and change is uncomfortable. But I'm just relieved that I could kind of, as I always tell people, they said, when are you going to act again? I said, when I can play a part that accommodates my girth and my mirth. And I think that I'm very grateful that I was able to play Rani and deal with the, the reality, like you said the other day, aging is something that's going to happen to all of us. But we are so paranoid about facing it. And I'm just glad that my comeback was not a comeback in that sense where I had to kind of live up to that Dil Hai Ke Manta Nahi girl that everybody can't seem to get. I mean, I was 19, for God's sake. I'm sitting in front of you all of 49 with my soul intact. And it's a delight to be able to play your age, and it's a delight to hear the director say, go closer, because she's unafraid to show you with a wrinkle or with a face that's kind of, now exhibiting the passage of time. And that's really kind of made me also let go of a lot more. So, I mean, I'm just very grateful to Alankrita and Bornila for being able to make me feel even more comfortable in my skin. And there's plenty of skin, I can assure you. Large expanse of it, rather.
And Fatima, I mean, as Pooja rightly said, a woman with ambition is usually, ambition is seen as a bad thing, like a perfect woman does not, wo Adarshwadi or, Mahila ki ambition nahi hoti hai, but things are changing. What's been your takeaway playing these characters that you have been? Because there is no happy ending. That's up to you. How do you want to see? It's they're living by their choices, their mistakes, and owning it all up.
Absolutely. I think, we had this discussion. So what is ambition? I think we run the risk of going on either extremes, a little bit like how she was saying, the progressive, regressive spectrum. I think even with something like ambition, we're walking a very thin line where now suddenly ambition is also defined by pre-existing notions of ambition, which is only related to work and success and money and independence and all of that. But that may not be everybody's ambition. Like Amrita said in that interview, that ambition can be being comfortable in your own skin, being able to love yourself. And those are things that are I think increasingly also becoming people's ambition, to be able to really figure out who you are, what you want, and what you want in the now, and be okay with the fact that it'll keep changing. So I think what is beautiful about this show for me is the fact that everybody is in a transitory phase. And that transitory nature of what you are seeing is in fact the permanence of the transitory phase. One imagines that you are reaching a conclusive point, and that's what cinema and the visual medium has always done. It's given you a beginning, middle, and end. But that's not how life plays out. So it's somewhere allowing for you to see various phases and transitory modes in people's lives, where they might make the mistake of thinking that, oh, they've reached somewhere, only to later perhaps realize again that they're in another change, in another cycle. And I think that that's really what really, I think, drew me to the story. And even when we watched it again, I think that's what, for me, is real about it, is the fact that we are constantly changing and evolving, and constantly will be asking ourselves these questions about where are we and what do we want now? And even that notion of ambition will change literally from today to tomorrow. And it can, and it's okay. We do not have to stick by other people's notion of ambition, other people's notion of womanhood, other people's notion of feminism, other people's notions of society. Everybody has to start asking those questions truly for themselves and let that answer come from inside, from somewhere that they've stopped listening to right now. So I think that's really something that I feel I'm hoping that the show is encouraging people to go in that direction, and not just women, everybody.
True. And also amongst all of you, who's your most favorite Begum, if I may ask?
I
In
think
terms of in
already
life or
said
in terms of
Lily.
in the show? That's a tough
In
one.
life and in the show. In life and in the show.
Are you asking me first?
Yes, we'll go.
Well, for me, I think that when I
In
watched
order
the
of
show,
seniority.
when I watched the show, like I said, when I read it, for me, what struck home was, of course, I mean, Rani, it was a privilege to have been able to play Rani at this stage of my life. But I think that for me, it was always Lily's character that for me resonated because she had, like I said, she was the one who had the moral compass. But I was blown away by my dear, adorable, gorgeous Shahana and also Plabita, because I think that while Plabita says that she's not like Aisha, what I saw in Aisha, which is very you, is somebody who is tough as nails beneath this really adorably cute kind of exterior. And people will tend to write you off because you're so damn cute, but they don't know what the hell they're dealing with actually. You know what I mean? And that came through, and I was so moved, especially when I saw her with her suitcases and I saw her struggling. And I think a lot of single women, especially in the city of like a city like Mumbai, who have such a tough time being able to find a home and settle down. That's really, for me, a character that's going to resonate the most, you know, because it's the most real in that sense. But I was blown away by Shana, and I think that she is somebody, like I told her the other day, I said, darling, you're a star. Now be shameless and go out there and claim it. You know, I mean, Amrita, I think it was love at first sight when we met at that reading, when you came in 5 seconds late and you were so apologetic about it. And I came in 3 seconds before you, and I was hoping that I would get there before you did, because I had such reverence for her as an artist and as a woman. But I think that who's blown me away the most is little Shy, who has literally grown in front of my eyes, and I feel so kind of protective about her, probably more so than her maternal, I mean, her biological mother does, because she's evolved. And it was a damn tough role. It was not an easy part, and to play it at 12 and to deal with all of those complexities of life like this is something that was not easy. So, I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but the truth is I love these women. And that's a rarity in this business, where you truly love each
and-
other.
and
At
we-
the same
we
time, we
second
love each
that,
other
yeah.
because we don't overdo the, oh, we are best friends and we must talk every day and all that stuff. But I just inherently knew on set that they had my back. And I know that they will in life. And I can just be myself, and it is celebrated. Each facet of my personality and the lack of it is celebrated. And Shana, of course, would very sweetly fix my hair every time. But I mean, I truly do, because it was a joy. It was an absolute joy, because they're all so different. And yet, like I said, we have a core that we somewhere, I think, is similar. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, Begums, for being the best co-stars ever. And I must say, all the men in our lives who are not here.
That's true.
All the men who gave such able support, they were such darlings, because I mean, they didn't compete in that sense, yet propped us all up, and you know, yeah. So
So Aisha, I'm going to address you by your screen names. Aisha, Shai, Fatima, your favorite Begums, to go Begums.
You know what? I mean, I'm
Rani.
also going by this cliche route only because I'm trying to think, why is it that I'm not able to choose? And I realized full credit goes to the writing and the
So
development
yeah,
of
so
the
favorite Begum is
characters.
Alankrita.
Because, yeah.
that is true.
Our favorite Begum
I
is
think you must say Alankrita and Bornila are the
Alankrita,
real
Bornila,
Begums.
and Iti, who wrote it. I mean,
those
they
are
have
favorite
done.
Begums, isn't
Because if
it?
we're the queens, they are the queen makers.
And
you
can
know?
I tell you that it's funny that while reading it, of course, one felt this, and then while shooting it, you saw bits and pieces of everybody's character being developed and seeing it in flesh. But then when you watch it, and that's why I also want to actually mention Charu, who's the editor, because she's done a great job as well. When you watch it, I forgot that I was seeing Pooja, Plabita, Adya, or Amruta. I mean, despite the fact that I know them so well, despite the fact that I've done the scenes where I've done it opposite them also, it was almost like I had forgotten all of that. I was watching a story. So, and that doesn't happen to me usually. You're very aware of your own work and what happened on shoot that day, and we were laughing, and all that went out of the window because there's a kind of flow to it that keeps you engaged as if you're watching real life. So in that sense, it's almost like, would you be able to choose your best friend out of all your friends that you have? No. So for me, there's really something in each person that resonates, and that's why I feel like this show will resonate across the board, because it's not just about, of course it's talking about 5 women, but I think everybody will be able to relate to it because it's showing you human experience. So in that sense, I'm taking,
absolutely.
I mean, the answer is cliched, but my explanation is not cliched. The reason why I'm not being able to choose is because it's really a slice of life. And we always use this term for like happy-go-lucky films, but slice of life, brothers and sisters, life
No, it's
is
true.
all
I mean,
kinds of
there is a bit of
things.
me in each one of you. I could relate with Rani, I could relate with you, I could relate with Aisha and Shai. Shai and Aisha, you've been quiet. The favorite Begums are yourselves.
Okay, so coming back to your question, I would say that I actually love each and every Begum because they are inspiring in their own ways. They have those parts that people can relate to on their own. You know, you don't have a specific Begum, but you know that there's parts of you in each of these Begums separately. So you know that these Begums are there to rule, and they are damn inspiring and loving. And yeah, that's it. They are gems in their own ways.
Absolutely. So says the voice of reason, as I call her. Shai for me was the voice of reason.
The old soul in a young body, as she describes herself in the show.
Yeah.
The old wise soul.
Totally.
So,
Yes, Aisha.
again, I will also have to pick everybody. I cannot pick one because, like I already said that when I
The
watched
one
the
you
show,
thought was the most badass. I know each one of you in your own way. But the one
most
you
badass is Lily.
Yeah, Lily's most badass.
There's no
Lily's
doubt
a
about
gangster.
that.
Lily's a gangster with a heart of
Lily-
gold.
Yeah. Definitely, that's who she is. But it's also because all of them were vulnerable. You know, everyone. I mean, Rani would try to, she would always have this mask on and try to pretend to be like, oh, I'm so perfect and everything is perfect in my life. But she's dealing with so much. So is Fatima. And I think what I really loved is that everyone was so vulnerable and you can resonate with each and every character. And obviously when you can resonate with a character, then you really love the character, and then you think like, okay, I think I like this character more. Then one scene happens and I'm like, oh no, I think I like, this is my favorite character. And then another scene happens, I'm like, oh no, this is my favorite Begum. So I don't think I can pick. And the same way as in real life, I mean, off camera, I can't pick because these are all like my
Absolutely.
Begums.
I'm sure you girls had a riot on set. Thank you so much for speaking to me. As you said, you all love applause. So another one. Will
Thank
I see
you.
A season 2? Will I see a season 2?
Inshallah.
Sure. Well, my lips to God's ears. Thank you so much, ladies. It's heartening to see such stories. More power to our tribe, and may we empower each other and uplift each other as we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Pooja.
Thank you. Bye.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.